as they go up 3 games on the Philadelphia Phillies. Hey, JJ here, welcoming you to Turner Field for Game 2 against the New York Mets as Jason Hayward and all of his teammates look to duplicate their fantastic performance from last night. It's Braves Mets right here on Peachtree TV. The Braves play here.
Another beautiful night at Turner Field in Atlanta, where on Monday night it was all Braves. With Joe Simpson. We're going to talk about the kids here for the next couple minutes, and we'll start with the 21-year-old who plays so much older than that age, Jason Hayward.
Jason Hayward has really stepped up here in recent days, Ernie, and he's had a good month of August. We already know that he was the Rookie of the Month in April. He was the Rookie of the Month in May. So here's how his August numbers stack up to those 2 months. He has fewer RBIs than he had in May, but he's got more home runs. One of the things to think about there is that he's got 15 homers. 15 of his 16 homers have been hit in those 3 months. So he went between May and August with only 1 homer. That was when he was battling that thumb injury. He's gotten red hot his last 8 ball games, and it's really nice to see another weapon in the Braves order for Bobby Cox.
Knocked in 4 runs last night in that Atlanta win. Now we move up to the 22-year-old, and that's Mike Minor, who's on the mound tonight.
Well, he's only made 3 starts in the big leagues, but they've all been good, Ernie, and I've just loved his aggressiveness from the get-go. That first start down in Houston, he established his fastball right away. And then here on 5 days rest in Chicago, he mowed him down. 6 innings, 12 strikeouts, that tied an all-time Braves franchise record for strikeouts by a rookie. He had everything working, but it was, again, working off his fastball. The curveball and the changeup were beautiful, and he's hoping to continue that tonight. But now he's been 9 days since that outing, and we'll find out if he's a little rusty right from the get-go against these Mets.
And in keeping with the young man theme, it'll be 23-year-old Jonathan Neese who goes to the mound for the New York Mets tonight. Back with more here at Turner Field on Peachtree TV right after this.
Ernie, and when you look at some records that exist in the National League, the Mets have the worst record with the exception of only one team, and that's the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now keep in mind that when you're looking at these four teams, the only team that's in the National League East is the New York Mets, so they play a lot more games here, and 37 and 76. Well, the Braves would like to stay on top of them tonight. They've got 3 more left with them here at home, and they'd like to take all 3 of them.
Overall this season, the teams have met 12 times and split them right down the middle, 6-6. Back with the first pitch between the Braves and the Mets here on Peachtree TV in just a couple of minutes. Here's the scene earlier this afternoon. Everybody say cheese. The team picture taken. Very little wind, mostly sunny at this point. And we're glad you're with us here on Peachtree TV for Game 2 of a 4-game set between the Mets and the Braves. Time for the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry Big Smiles seat upgrade. JJ found some lucky fans, upgraded their seats. Keep watching to see where the new seats are located. Sponsored by the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry. The Braves have taken the field, and we take a look at the batting order brought to you by Stone Mountain Park and Evergreen Marriott Resort. This Mets lineup looks nothing like last night's. Luis Castillo leads off. David Wright in the number 2 position. Carlos Beltran starts tonight. Jeff Rancourt hits cleanup for the first time this season. Then it's Ike Davis, Henry Blanco, Chris Carter, the 20-year-old shortstop Ruben Tejada, and Jonathan Neese on the mound as they face Mike Minor.
And this is the 4th start of the year for Mike Minor. He's 22 years old, 6'4", 210, out of Chapel Hill, Tennessee. 2-0 with a 4 ERA. Went 4-1 in AAA, 2-6 in AA before he was called up. And an excellent average against him right now, 236. You also see a great walks to strikeouts ratio, 4-22 over his 18 innings, thanks in large part to 1 walk and 12 strikeouts in that start against Chicago 9 days ago.
He will face Luis Castillo to start things off here on just a picture-perfect Tuesday night at Turner Field. Battle of left-handers tonight is underway. Up and away, 1-0. Castillo has struggled recently, just 6 out of his last 34 over his last 16 games. He's in the leadoff spot tonight. Ball and a strike. That's Alfonso Marquez calling the balls and strikes.
Mike Minor does a great job of trying to establish his fastball inside to right-handed hitters early in the ball game.
That just missed. 2 balls and a strike. Minor originally picked in the 13th round in 2006 by Tampa Bay. Decided not to sign, went to Vanderbilt. There's a high chopper, and I don't know if they can get him. And they cannot. Kind of started the way last night did. They had that little dribbler down the third baseline.
Castillo gets a lot of these. I mean, he is up near the league lead in infield hits every year because he'll just chop it off the plate or off the area in front of home plate and try to leg it out, and he's good at it.
So the Mets have their leadoff hitter on, and David Wright in a strange position in the New York batting order. He has not hit out of the 2-hole since 2007. Angel Pagan not in the lineup tonight. He's got right wrist tendonitis. Probably going to miss a couple of games. Started flaring up last night. And so Jerry Manuel has really switched things up today.
Here's that good changeup. Beauty. Wright 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts last night. Came up with runners on base a couple of times and couldn't deliver. Hitting .269 for the year. That's not all that bad with runners in scoring position, but just a change of scenery in the 2 spot.
Off the end of the bat, a ball and 2 strikes. This game is so crazy when you look at some of the numbers. Wright hit better than 300, well over 300 in this ballpark last year. And this season, he is 0 for 25 at Turner Field and is 3 for 43 against the Braves overall in the 12 games they've played.
That speaks to good scouting, implementation of good scouting reports, and trying to keep him off balance and stay away from his power.
We made mention in the opener of this series about the fact that the Mets will steal some bases. They have swiped 115, which is #1 in the National League, but their biggest threats to steal are not in the lineup tonight. Pagan has 32. Reyes has 28. The guy at the plate right now, David Wright, is their leading base stealer in the starting lineup. Jason Bay has 10, and we haven't seen him since the concussion.
Nor do they expect to see him. They think he might be done for the year.
1-2 to Wright.
Mike Minor sits right around 92 to 93, sometimes a 94 fastball. Very good fastball, good life on it. A very good curveball, an excellent changeup. And if he has a 4th pitch, it's a slider. In terms of ranking them, the slider would probably be 4th out of those 4.
Wright takes 2-2. He has 21 home runs and ranks 6th in the National League, tied for 6th with his 86 runs batted in. But in the month of August, he has not produced. Watches another one, the count full. For one of your big RBI guys in the month of August, 087 during the month of August with runners in scoring position. Very un-David Wright-like.
And another reason to move him out of there. Maybe seeing different situations like this with right field hole open.
The 3-2 pitch is blooped behind second, and Fonte makes the play.
The Mets hit .258 at home. They hit 18 points lower than that on the road. And they hit just a few points higher on average against lefties than righties. Just 6 points. And that's very negligible. But they do have a winning record against left-handed starters, going 18-15 for the year.
You saw Howard Johnson, their hitting instructor, has been scratching his head, I'm sure, since the 1st of July when their on-base percentage, a robust 299. Wow.
Their ERA there, you saw a huge difference. Home and road, and giving up almost a full run more on the road per game than they do at home. In fact, almost a run and a half more. David Ross looks different behind the plate tonight. He doesn't have his hockey style mask on tonight.
The 0-2 to center field. Or Melky Cabrera has a beat on that. 2 down. Castillo bluffs and then retreats to first. Any reason for the equipment change on Ross?
No, that's news to me. I just noticed it when he blocked that ball in the dirt.
David has caught 1 of the 3 starts so far for Mike Minor.
I think you ask any of the starting pitchers for the Braves, they're going to tell you they're very comfortable with either Brian McCann or David Ross. They're fortunate to have their experience and their catching abilities. They're savvy in terms of calling games.
Here's Francoeur hitting in the cleanup spot tonight. First time this year that he's been there. Says he recalls hitting cleanup for the Braves a couple of times. He said, Bobby put me in there a couple of times when guys were hurt. That ball is hit down the left side, but foul.
And again, there's another good fastball in on the hands of a right-handed hitter from Minor. You just got to love his aggressiveness, his willingness to establish that fastball before he goes to breaking stuff, and very little that Jeff could do with that pitch. Tonight at midnight marks the deadline that teams can acquire a player that might be eligible for the postseason.
He just reached out and slapped that to right, and it's going to fall right in front of Jason Hayward. Runners at first and second.
I don't know how he hit that. But with the deadline in mind for postseason play to be on a team's roster, there are rumors abounding on Jeff Francoeur going from the Mets to another club, and another one of the teams mentioned was the Texas Rangers.
That word was circulating an hour or so before the first pitch tonight. You wondered if you're going to get a late alert that the lineup would be changed, but could still happen before midnight tonight. But right now he's a New York Met, and he stands at first with Castillo at second and 2 down. This is Ike Davis. He's hit safely in 9 of his last 10 games, the rookie first baseman. Got some pop, 15 home runs, 57 runs batted in. But as you pointed out, a lot of moving parts in that swing, and maybe a couple of holes you could exploit for a veteran pitcher.
Yeah, for a guy who starts his swing early, you might be able to exasperate him a little bit with some off-speed stuff like that. 2 good breaking balls back to back.
Minor trying to pitch his way out of some first inning trouble. Mets on first and second, 2 out. And he got it. We go to the bottom of the first in Atlanta. Up, Omar Infante leading off. Jason Hayward off that huge night last night, and you see that he's tied for second among NL rookies in home runs. Then it's Martin Prado, Derek Lee cleaning up, Matt Diaz at left, Gonzalez at short, Cabrera, Ross, and Minor to face Jonathan Neese.
This guy's a good pitcher. If you haven't heard of Jonathan Neese, he's 8-6 for the Mets. He's made 3 starts in his career against the Braves, including one way back on April 24th. Got no decision, but struck out 6 in 5 1/3 innings. He also walked 5 that night. Good fastball and an excellent curve, and a good slider.
And he will work quickly. He's ready to go, and Omar is still digging in. Here comes the 1-0. Not even a ball and a strike. His last 6 road starts, he's 2-1 with an ERA of 1.89. And he's ahead, ball and 2 strikes. Technically still a rookie. This is the 3rd season he's been up. That breaking ball nowhere near. Made 3 starts in 08, 5 in 09. And then he tore his right hamstring tendon last August and had season-ending surgery. Off speed again. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And it also put him on the disabled list. He had some hamstring trouble this year that put him on the DL back in May.
Right back off of his foot. And Omar is on safely.
A little flat cutter there that went right off his foot. And Karam then in between Wright and Tejada. So another good start for Omar, who continues to do such a superb job leading off.
Well, here's Jason Hayward, who just can't wait to get to the ballpark these days. 22 for his last 51, 4 homers, 10 RBIs in those last 13 games. He went deep last night, knocked in 4 runs, and had perhaps the highlight of the game, going first to home on a single by Prado.
That was mighty impressive.
That's tapped towards second. Infante's going to hold up. Now they're going to have to tag him. And that is a double play. Omar did all he could, but the Mets played it well.
This was executed perfectly by Castillo, who froze Infante. When he got him to stop, then he could flip to first for the out. And then the throw down to second in time. So well done by the second baseman, the first baseman, and then the shortstop.
So 2 down for Martin Prado. Talk about a guy who goes on the disabled list and comes back like he has not missed a single beat. It has been this guy. He grounds this one to third, right across to Davis for the 3rd out. We head to the 2nd, scoreless. Top half of the second inning here on Peachtree TV. Thanks for being with us, folks. Ernie Johnson, Joe Simpson at your service as we watch Mike Minor work to Henry Blanco. Down the right side, and that'll be foul.
Nice catch down there.
So you got the 22-year-old left-hander on the mound and the veteran 39-year-old catcher Henry Blanco at the plate. Made him dance. 1-1.
When you're the swing guy and the guy that gets skipped on off days, especially this time of year, there are usually a lot of off days in August and September. You have to stay sharp. You've got to work between starts and get your bullpen sessions in. And it's just not the same as working to live hitters. For Mike Minor, the distance between his first start and his second was 8 days. Then he was on a rotation for 5 days before that 12 strikeout game against the Cubs. And again, it's been 9 days.
That ball's hit pretty well to left. But Diaz has plenty of room. 1 down. Here's Chris Carter, who hit third in Jerry Manuel's lineup last night in the 7-hole tonight against the left-hander Mike Minor.
What a game thrown last night by Hiroki Kuroda of the Dodgers, having a no-hitter to the late stages against the Phillies. And again, Philadelphia struggling to hit. They only had 1 hit all night.
And they beat Roy Halladay, did the Dodgers. So they'll go again tonight at Chavez Ravine. And always one of those situations where you're playing earlier. You know everybody's peeking at that scoreboard. You may as well put a W up there and let them chew on that a little bit.
It's like David Ross got his mask fixed and adjusted the way he wanted.
The 1-2. That should be easy for Diaz again. 2 up, 2 down. You'll see Philadelphia and LA at 10:10. Washington and Florida are playing on time. They had a 2-hour and 49-minute rain delay last night. And when they did finally start, there was standing water all over the outfield, guys sloshing around. Talk about the Phillies, Joe, in that loss last night, and they've 10 of their last 12 games they've scored 3 runs or less. But in that stretch also comes a sweep of the San Diego Padres in San Diego. Minor with a 1-1. This tie to Ruben Tejada, the 20-year-old New York shortstop.
Signed as a 16-year-old when he was in his native Panama.
There's a line drive to left, and it's going to skip by Diaz. This guy can run. Watch him. He's rounding second. Diaz up with the ball, and they're going to hold him up at third.
Well, if you're going to go for one, it's with 2 outs that you try to make a shoestring catch and rob a guy of a hit. But Matt couldn't get a glove on that one. He'd certainly like to keep it in front of you if you can't catch it. Oh, they're going to call that a single and a 2-base error.
That's tough.
I don't buy that one. Not when a guy's trying to make a diving catch. But with 2 outs and the pitcher up, you can afford to take a chance like that.
Here is Nice. Takes a strike. He's 6 for 43, and he's behind 0-2. He does have a couple of doubles on the year. So you don't take it for granted, but Minor is ahead 0-2.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them change that to a triple for Tejada. And if they do, it'll be his first career triple.
Off speed, called, strike 3. No damage done as the Mets strand the runner at third.
If you have a question for us tonight, send us an email, and if chosen, we'll answer it later in the game. Send that email to braves@peachtreetv.com, and please include your name. And remember that more saving, more doing, that's the power of Home Depot.
Bottom half of the second. We are scoreless, and Derek Lee will lead it off. Hitting 176 in 9 games with the Braves. Nice working quickly and falling behind 2-0.
We like pitchers that work fast, don't we?
We do. Fielders like that too.
Yep.
Keeps everybody interested, keeps everybody on their toes.
We've seen a lot of that lately. Randy Wells from the Cubs works fast. Chris Wolstad of the Marlins works extremely fast.
Go to St. Louis, Carpenter, Wainwright, Garcia, all those guys adhere to that. Albert Pujols will say, hey, that's what we like. Nobody gets bored. Nobody's back on their heels. Into right field. That's fair, into the corner. Lee will coast into second with a leadoff double.
Just shot one the other way after Nice fell behind in the count. Tried a little backdoor slider. And the story on Nice was that he struggled if that slider was flat because he would drop his arm angle down, and that's what we're seeing here so far. Is there's not a real good tilt to his slider. Maybe the Braves can pick on him for that.
See if Derek's onto something here. He had his first multi-hit game last night. Diaz lays down the bunt, and it'll get Derek Lee over to third. Bunted it pretty hard, and I don't know why Nice didn't go to third.
I don't either, and neither does David Wright, who was over there yelling to him to throw it. This was a bad bunt, and Derek Lee was hung up, was ready to get in a rundown, and Wright was calling for the ball. Watch Wright. Oh, hey, had him. Thank you very much.
Well, here's Alex Gonzalez now with a runner at third. Fly ball brings him home.
Boy, come on, guys.
And the Mets have the infield in.
I'd love this if you're Alex.
Toward short. Lee will stay as Tejada throws out Gonzalez. So 2 down for Melky Cabrera. Melky 0 for 4 last night, takes a strike. Derek Lee, short lead at third as Cabrera waits. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Blanco. Ball and a strike. For Nice, the highlight of the season, a complete game, 1-hit shutout of the Padres in June. Chris Denorfia touched him for a double in the third inning. Then he set down 21 in a row.
Yeah, didn't walk a batter. And that's just a beautiful outing. Good numbers on the road. He's 4-2, a 3.18 ERA.
Asked for help at first, but Tim Timmons says no swing by Melky. It's 2-2.
He's from the same hometown as Chad Billingsley of the Dodgers, Defiance, Ohio.
Just reached out and stayed alive.
You can't give up on the curveball. You might wonder why Melky swung at that, but this guy's notorious for throwing that high, looping, big breaking ball and having hitters give up on it.
He struck him out to end the second. So the Braves get a runner to third. That's as far as Derek Lee got. We go to the third. Deborah Gray King in the Atlanta Center for Cosmetic Dentistry, the place in Atlanta to get a beautiful smile.
They were doing a wave when they got the tickets from JJ. They might be doing a wave again before the night's over.
We would hope to see that. Great. You know, it's such a great time of year, and I know school's back in session, and so it's not, you know, a typical summertime crowd, but still to watch pennant race baseball. Gathering out here tonight at 18,000 last night. On a hop to short. Gonzalez throws it out.
I wish you could get to the ballpark once in a while, you fans, to be able to see how hard the Braves infielders work on ground balls and their throws. Those guys, they take literally hundreds of ground balls a day and make throws either to second, like to start a double play, or across to first. Even here in late August, they every day they go through their routines.
It's all about repetition. Here's David Wright. Grounded to third. Prado. 2 down.
Brian Snitker, Bobby Dews, Glenn Hubbard, Chino Cadahia, hitting ground ball after ground ball after ground ball. Yep. Those guys.
Bobby Dews is a marvel to watch.
It looks like he throws the ball. I mean, he's so accurate with his fungo. He's a magician.
Quickly 2 down for Carlos Beltran. Takes a strike. Let's see how long Doozy's been around.
More than a week.
I mean, you call some guys old school. Bobby Dews is Old Testament. He is. I mean, to tell you, man, he is the greatest. He is the greatest. And I just mean to tell you, you can watch him hit fungos out here, and you enjoyed that. I can tell.
That is beautiful.
March 23rd of 39, Bobby was born. May not have to go by and see Bobby tomorrow.
Oh, I'll let him know.
3-2.
He gets his work in and he goes in and he'll be in the clubhouse watching. I'm sure he caught it.
The payoff pitch. Grounded foul past third. We're in the top half of the third. In a scoreless game. Nobody on, 2 out. Mike Minor to the plate. Hit toward the gap in left center field. On a hop off the wall. Beltran motors into second with a stand-up double.
Minor kind of worked himself into a jam here, 3-2, where he needed to deliver a strike and he couldn't hit that outside corner where David Ross wanted it. Came down the middle of the plate, and Carlos Beltran may have a bad knee, but that doesn't mean he can't let his hands do the work. And especially right-handed, he's been better this year because it's less stress on his knee.
Here's Jeff Francoeur, who somehow singled to right his first time. Kind of took a flat-footed swing and just slapped one into right. The Mets have had at least one base runner in every inning so far. Beltran's out there with 2 down. And this should be easy for Jason Heyward. We've played 2.5. And we'll be right back. Visit PeachStreetTV.com/contests for official rules and to enter for a chance to win. AirTran Airways, go. There is nothing stopping you. All right, Ted. You've got David Ross leading off, then you've got Mike Minor, then you've got Omar Infante in the Atlanta third.
The way things are going for the Braves in the month of August, doesn't matter who's hitting in terms of long balls. Davids has come this month. But the Braves home runs by month. Check it out. Let's look at that again. 36 home runs this month. Far and away more than any other month. And it's the most home runs in a month for Atlanta since August of 2007 when they hit 41.
This ball is hit to center field. Beltran back at the track, and it's off the wall. Ross is at second, and he's going to third. The Braves catcher puts a charge into one to lead off the third.
And again, it was that slider with not a lot of tilt to it. And David's all over it, and he just missed making a winner of old Ted.
Prattville was holding its collective breath.
Oh, boy. Beltran really hit the wall hard, too. And David on his horse to third.
So here's Minor. Looking for his first big league hit. He's 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts, has a walk.
With an asterisk. First big league at bat in Houston. He hits a rocket to right field. What looked like he was going to drive in a run, and then Hunter Pence threw him out at first base.
Right you
field.
are.
Mike.
Quickly 0-2.
The second triple of the year for David Ross. He only had 3 in his whole career coming into this season.
Off speed got him. 1 down. Braves with a runner at third for the second straight inning.
That's the slow, easy curveball. Carlos Gonzalez was not able to get Derek Lee in from third base with 1 out. Just hit a little easy ground ball to short. Let's see if Omar can capitalize.
Rounded to third. Ross is going to stay there. 2 down. Couple of groundouts with runners at third. Unable to get that run across here in the second and the third. Now it's up to Jason Hayward.
It's time to take a look at the SunTrust Solid Performance, brought to you by SunTrust. Live solid, bank solid. Our subject tonight, highest National League average in the last 10 days, and Jason Hayward over the last 10 days with the best numbers at 528. A couple of guys out west. Or excuse me, one guy out west, Freddie Sanchez, has been pretty hot over the last 10 also.
Don't know how that missed him. Ball and a strike. Talking to Jerry Manuel before the game, I said, what impresses you the most about this guy? He said, his management of the strike zone. He said, there's never any panic, no matter the count. Really knows it well for a kid who's just recently turned 21. 2 balls and a strike. Count even.
Got a high strike there.
Ross down the line at third, and the count is full to Jason Hayward.
He's really liked his curveball tonight. It's been better than his slider. And if he doesn't want to give in to Jason, one would guess it would be with the curveball, trying to get him to chase.
Strike three called. A couple of those were questionable. But Nice gets out of it.
No way. No way.
This has been the Airtran Airways home run inning of the game. Be sure to register at PeachTreeTV.com.
Trivia question: visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, moving forward. 1899. That's. Oh wait, no, that was last night. Who was the last player to lead the National League or the American League in average homers and RBIs at the All-Star break? In other words, was the Triple Crown guy at the break?
Well, the last guy to win the Triple Crown was Yaz.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say that somebody didn't have those kind of credentials at the All-Star break, but
since then,
unable to maintain those numbers. We are in the top half of the fourth, and this is Ike Davis, who struck out his first time to end the first. Struck out 3 times last night. And quickly, Mike Minor is ahead 0-2. Are you venturing a guess? Are the wheels turning?
Yeah,
over
they're
there?
kind of grinding. There's a little smoke going right now, but somehow Chet Lemon came to the front of that 8-ball. Chet Lemon and the '84 Tigers, but
may have totally stumped the panel.
Maybe we're looking at him.
Would you?
Maybe.
Ike Davis waiting on a 1-2. Mets have had a hit in every inning. 4 for the night. Had runners at first and second in the first. That couldn't move him. Had a runner at third in the second, and he was stranded there. And Beltran at second in the third. Here comes the 2-2. He wanted it.
That's a lot better pitch than the one he just rang Jason up on. That was a horrible call. Henry Blanco was set up outside, and the pitch was very much inside. That's a 10 times better pitch than the call he made on Hayward.
Here comes the payoff pitch to Davis. Strike 3 call. Not as good a pitch. Not as good a pitch as the one before it.
Good spot though.
One down. Blanco takes inside.
In the game against the Cubs, when he struck out 12, Mike Minor did give up 3 runs. He gave up a run in the first, and then he gave up the only home run he's allowed so far as a big leaguer, and that was a 2-run missile to Aramis Ramirez. And I mean, there's no doubt about it. So it wasn't a cheapie.
The ball was flying out of the park that day too, because the Braves tattooed the Cubs in that game 16-5. Jason hit a couple, and Fonte went deep twice. That was Lou Pinella's finale.
That's right.
Blanco to right. Easy for Hayward, 2 down.
I know, let's go to a Braves game and look at the Atlanta skyline.
There's where Atlanta Fulton County Stadium used to be.
See over there, that's where Hammer and Hank hit that memorable home run.
Before we were born.
Thank you.
Here's Chris Carter.
Thank you, old school. There she is. Literally biting the dust.
I spent a lot of days in that ballpark growing up, I'll tell you that.
I know you did.
I used to see Bobby Dews in there, as a matter of fact. I used to tag along a lot with Pops. Sure, the right-hander is watching in Cumming, Georgia tonight.
I'll bet he is. Big iron. How about Mike Minor cutting down on his walks per 9 innings at each level that he went to, especially here.
Reaches out, pokes it into left. It'll fall in front of Diaz for a 2-out hit.
You mentioned the hits they have in every inning, Ernie. They got a leadoff single from Castillo, but then the next hit came with 2 outs from Francoeur. Tejada had the 2-out hit that got under the glove of Diaz in the second. Beltran's double was with 2 outs, and now the single by Carter with 2 outs. So that's, if you're going to give them up, that's the time to do it.
New York is 4 for 28 in this series with men on base. And here is Tejada, who hit the ball hard, and it eluded a charging Matt Diaz in the second. It went as a single and a 2-base error. He wound up at third, but was stranded there. And it was a rarity for Tejada, who's just 7 for 78 over his last 28 games with the Mets. And since being recalled from Buffalo, their AAA affiliate, he was 3 for 41 coming into this game.
That's when you're hoping when that guy hits one like that he just goes by first base and keeps running like out into right field because he's forgotten where to go.
Oh, he lays one down with 2 out. And there will be no play. Tejada is 2 for 2.
It's not a good play. I mean, if you've got Tim Hudson on deck or another really good hitting pitcher, okay. But all you're doing now, you're the guy that's supposed to be finding a gap or driving in a run, and you leave it to the pitcher. That's just not a good play.
Oh, those 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Nice was at the plate in the second with Tejada at third and was called out on strikes to end that inning. And here he is with 2 out and runners at first and second.
I don't really know how good a hitter Jonathan Neese is, and I'll give him credit for having 6 hits this year, including 2 doubles. So he might be a lot better hitter than I think he is. But that play by the young shortstop, he might hear about it.
To the left side, but bending out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. Had a big smile on his face over there at first base afterwards, but I don't know if that was going to be shared by that man, Jerry Manuel, in the New York dugout. Good idea, nice execution, not exactly perfect timing.
No.
And Neese goes down on strikes. We are through 3.5. No score.
Who was the last player to lead the National League or American League in average homers and RBIs at the All-Star break? In other words, on the verge of a triple crown. I guess if they showed Howard Johnson enough, we should guess Howard Johnson. Since it was Hank Aaron, though, we probably got it wrong. They led us astray.
Henry doing that in 1957, the year the Braves beat the Yankees in 7, the World Series.
So I guess when Yaz did it, he wasn't in that position at the All-Star break. I think he only hit .301 that year to win the batting title, too.
Wow.
For Yaz. The next year, they lowered the mound.
You see those Triple Crown winners since '42, all in the American League. Ducky Medwick is the last National League player to do it.
That was in the 30s, wasn't it?
Yep. Pretty intriguing stuff in the National League this year with the race that's going on. Joey Votto and Albert Pujols. The 2-1 to Martin Prado. That's hit well to left. And that'll be extra bases. Carter finally comes up with it, and Prado stands at second with a leadoff double.
Third straight inning with an extra base hit. Let's hope the third time's the charm to get that run across. He's left some breaking balls up tonight, and Derek Lee, David Ross, and now Martin Prado have jumped all over him.
Lee doubled in the second. Has a runner in scoring position here in the fourth.
Come on, Dave. Line drive. Come on.
Like the Mets, the Braves have had a base runner in every inning. Nice has worked around it, as has Mike Minor. But the Braves trying to break on top here in the fourth. Off speed, lined in the left. Here comes Prado. They'll wave him. They have no play at the plate. Derek Lee has knocked in the game's first run. And he's a little slow to get up at first.
Braves knew something about Chris Carter. Brian Snitker never hesitated. There's the big slow hook. Lee waited on it, lined it over short. Now look where he fields this ball. He's charging, he's shallow. And did it get to the dirt? Yeah, it barely got to the infield dirt. So Brian Snitker knew something about the arm of Chris Carter and took full advantage. Well done.
Come on, D.
63rd RBI of the season for Derek Lee. So the Braves on top 1-0. And Diaz takes a strike, 1-1.
Back to that Triple Crown number for Carl Yastrzemski. The year he won the Triple Crown, he hit 326. The next year he hit 301 and won the batting title with a 301 average.
You don't see that very often.
Not anymore.
Fouled off the right side, a ball and 2 strikes. Look at that, Joey Votto has knocked in a couple of runs tonight. He has 96 now to pass Pujols. For Derek Lee, that was the 7th RBI as a Brave. And it plated the first run of the game. Now the pitch to Diaz, line to third. He made the play and then dropped it as he took it out of his glove. Derek Lee did what you're supposed to do at first. He froze on the line drive. 1 down.
And he was trying to transfer it to his throwing hand. Didn't do a very good job of it. Got a break from Bob Davidson.
Well, here's Alex Gonzalez, who grounded out to short his first time, and he is due. He's 0 for his last 12. Fooled by the off speed. 0-2.
It's a good curveball when he gets it down. Very deceptive with it.
To the curveball again. He just did get a piece of it. Braves have broken out on top here in the fourth. A double by Prado, a single by Lee. Derek's over there at first with 1 down. Gonzalez goes down swinging.
That might have been the best slider he's thrown tonight. 4th strikeout for him, and perfect back foot slider to a right-handed hitter. That had some tilt to it. Wasn't all the way down and in, but effective.
Now here's Melky. Struck out his first time. That came with a runner at third to end the second. He talked about Nice going to the same high school that Chad Billingsley went to, and as all major league pitchers do, you look back at their numbers when they were in high school, and they always have these gaudy stats. And as a senior there at Defiance High School, in his senior year, 78 innings pitched, 1 earned run, Wow. 0.12 ERA. That's line to left. 2-out hit.
Come on, Rusty.
Unlike Ruben Tejada, I don't think you're going to see David Ross try to drop a bunt down here with runners on base.
So load him for Mike Minor.
Right.
So the Braves looking for more here in the fourth. First and second, 2 out. See if David Ross gets anything good to hit here with the pitcher on deck.
The guy took you almost out of the ballpark to right center. He might be inclined to try to work him inside and tie him up. Remember, though, what he hit was a slider, real flat slider to right center. And David's quick inside.
Well, kid. Come on, Rusty.
This was a triple. He just missed hitting it out of here. Beltran crashed into the wall hard, and in fact, when he landed, he had jammed his wrist a little bit. He was getting his right wrist taped in the dugout after that.
The 1-1.
Red, swing it, kid.
Six hits for each side. A 1-0 Atlanta lead here in the fourth. 23-year-old left-hander Jonathan Neese.
Boy. Come on,
Just
Rusty.
missed. 2-2.
And Neese was walking. He's walking because he got that called third on Jason last inning. Didn't get it that time.
Maybe.
The count is full.
You hope David gets something to hit here with the runners moving, but if I'm Jonathan Neese, I know that got to know the pitcher's on deck, even at the expense of loading him up when your other pitch to the pitcher. And as a result, the slow curve.
Now this works into the Braves' favor now with Derek Lee at second. It gives him a huge opportunity to score on a single where otherwise he might not be able to.
That's right. Even on a base hit to right field of Frank Coeur and his good arm. With Derek running on the pitch, he can score.
Ross steps out. Neese steps off. And now we're ready to go. His 26th pitch of the inning. Runners go, and he fouls it off.
Well, Rusty.
Neese has thrown 65 pitches now. Here in the fourth. Braves have made him work here in this frame. And have pushed one run across. And he gets him swinging to end the fourth. But the Braves score the game's first run as we head to the fifth.
Experience all the comfort and amenities you expect at an unexpectedly low price. Jamieson Inn's Live Large, Pay Less.
4 innings in the books here at Turner Field. Braves on top of the Mets 1-0 as we head to the 5th. And Mike Minor will face the top of the New York order. Luis Castillo, 1 out of 2. One of those Baltimore chops in the first. Took about a day and a half to come down, and he reached on the infield single. Grounded to short in the 3rd. Minor turned him away, 2-0.
Mike's not shy about pitching in. Not necessarily up and in, but he will work inside to right-handed hitters.
Here comes the 2-0. For a strike. Minor hasn't walked a hitter through 4. He has struck out 4. Ike Davis twice and the pitcher Jonathan Neese twice. The Mets have 6 hits. 2-2. Minor has gone exactly 6 innings in each of his previous 3 starts. This one's grounded up the middle for a leadoff single. So once again, the Mets have a base runner.
And this time they do it with their leadoff man, as they did in the first. The one thing that I think keeps coming back to me about Mike Minor, Ernie, is just the fact that he's a pitcher. When you get a guy in the first round as high as the Braves got him out of Vanderbilt, you're hoping it's someone that's polished. He not always is. It might be a high school kid with some raw talent that takes some time to develop. But Mike Minor's a pitcher. He knows what he's doing. He works both sides of the plate. Has good breaking stuff, off-speed stuff. He's going to be a real asset.
David Wright is 0 for 2 and still hitless at Turner Field for the year. Now 0 for 27. I mentioned that Minor was originally picked by the Tampa Bay Rays. That was in the 13th round, and he said, I'm going to go to school. Went to Vanderbilt. He's on the same pitching staff as David Price there. That would have been a fun bunch to face.
Good team.
And the Braves drafted him in 2009, the 7th overall pick. Made his debut earlier this month, and as we close the books on August tonight, he makes his 4th big league start.
There are some guys who in high school exhibit great talent and get drafted and deserve to be drafted, but may not be mature enough emotionally to handle being out on their own and playing professional baseball. And for those guys, it's a better choice to go to college. It allows them at least 3 years, sometimes less if you go to junior college, but a 4-year school allows you until you turn 21 to grow as a person and be able to handle the rigors, the ups and downs of pro baseball a little better than you might have as a high school player. I know I was one of those guys. I had a chance to sign out of high school, and I think if I had, I don't think I'd have lasted more than 2 or 3 years personally.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't think I was physically ready, number one, and I'm not sure that I could have been mature enough to handle it.
2-2. Ross blocked it. The count is full. It's always interesting to see the dynamic that's played out there. You know, because teams will say, hey, if you really want to learn the game of baseball, come with us and we're going to teach you from the ground up and that kind of thing. But for others, that college background and the college life, yeah, as you point out, develops you not only as a ball player but just as a person. Yeah, out there on your own. It's enough a lot of times just to go to college and be away from home, even if you're not playing ball. And
there's some growing up to do.
Oh, without question.
Sure. First walk of the night came on a pretty good pitch, but David Wright didn't offer.
Well, Minor has worked his way out of trouble on a few occasions tonight through 4, and here in the 5th, nobody out, 2 on in a 1-0 game, and here's Carlos Beltran.
Good pitch to start him. Good off-speed breaking ball. Mets have had runners in this series already, but just 1 for 18 with runners in scoring position, and going back 5 games before this series, 4 for their last 38.
Minor's going to throw back. Beltran doubled in the 3rd after flying out to center in the 1st. It's been a struggle trying to regain his form. He's a 5-time All-Star, but after knee surgery, it's been slow for him. Checked his swing, 1-1. Came in hitting just .216 with 2 home runs and 14 runs batted in.
Beginning the 3rd time through the order against Mike Minor too, so they're going to start trying to make some adjustments against him. Not that he had dominated him in the first 2 trips of the order. They had 6 hits, but now they're a little more patient, it seems.
Beltran waits on a 2-1. Downstairs, 3 balls, 1 strike. See some movement out there in the Atlanta bullpen.
That was a case 2-1 where Beltran didn't even offer at that pitch because he was looking 100% for that slow curveball. He was fortunate that the fastball missed and wasn't called a strike.
Back-to-back walks after the leadoff single, and they are loaded with Mets.
Eric O'Flaherty up again in the Braves bullpen. He worked an inning and a 3rd last night.
Well, he came in a bases loaded situation, got a big ground out to end an inning. And he gets loose now as the bases are loaded in the top of the 5th. Nobody out for Jeff Francoeur. 8:30 local time here in Atlanta on a Tuesday night. Game 2 of a 4-game series. Platinum recording artist and country music sensation Montgomery Gentry will perform a free postgame concert at Turner Field, presented by Delta Airlines and Coca-Cola, following the Braves-Cardinals game on Saturday, the 11th of September. For tickets and on-field passes, visit Braves.com/Montgomery Gentry or call 800-745-3000.
How about this, Ernie? As much as Jeff Francoeur has played this year, this is only the 9th time all year he's come up with the bases loaded, and he's 1 for 8 with less than 2 outs. A little better, 1 for 3.
Well, this is a huge spot as he bats cleanup in the order for the first time this season with the Mets. He was way late there. No balls and a strike.
I mean, he'd already made up his mind to swing, and Minor and David Ross able to take advantage of that.
No balls and 2 strikes. Since the 5th of July, only batting .114 with runners in scoring position. And you wonder what's going on in his mind right now, too. We talked about what has gone on earlier in the day. This is the deadline tonight. He may be dealt to the Texas Rangers, according to various media reports, before midnight tonight. He takes inside, but just inside, 1-2.
From that crossfire angle, that looked like it had the corner of the plate, the inside corner. Remember, he's working from the first base side of the rubber.
Fouled into the New York dugout, 1-2. Jeff's getting a lot of playing time now. There was a stretch this year when he wasn't getting much, and had talked about, while he enjoyed playing in New York, wanted to go someplace where he would get more playing time. We'll see if this is possibly his last night in the New York uniform, as he sends one to center. Cabrera with the catch. There's the tag, and the game is tied. So Castillo scores the first New York run. Runners are at first and second with one out.
54th RBI for Francoeur.
Well, here's Ike Davis, who struck out twice and 5 times in the first 2 nights of this series. Breaking pitch over, 0-1.
He has made some real good pitches to him with the breaking stuff. Combined between AA and AAA for Mike Minor this year, left-handers only hit 192 against him. And coming into this game in the big leagues, they were 2 for 13.
The 0-1 just missed a ball and a strike. Alfonso Marquez making Minor work. Now 95 pitches on the night. Excuse me, for the 22-year-old Mike Minor.
Yeah, he's had to work pretty hard. His 3 starts, 94 pitches, then 105 and 104.
Davis ahead 2-1, takes 3 balls and a strike.
I think this is the most he's labored in any one inning in any of his starts. Trouble with his command.
They're loaded. Had not walked a batter through the first 4, has walked 3 here in the 5th. And here is Henry Blanco.
He's a double play candidate, but there's only been 2 ground ball outs, and they came on consecutive pitches to Castillo and Wright in the 3rd inning.
Blanco has flied to left and flied to right. Fly ball here would give the Mets the lead. Little 6-4-3 would work right here. That's not bad either. 0-2. Now he's going to try to close the deal on Blanco.
Don't have to throw him a strike. Got some room to work. Let's see where David Ross sets up and what he wants from him. Change up, but it's too low, and didn't make Henry flinch. He's at the 100 pitch mark.
One ball, two strikes. The base is loaded. That ball is hit to left. And into left center, and there's the catch made. And another sacrifice fly gives the Mets the lead.
Now on a 1-2 count. He'd gotten ahead of Francoeur also before his sacrifice fly.
So 2 down now. Runners at first and second. And Chris Carter.
It's the 8th RBI for Henry Blanco in 115 at bats this year.
Carter singled his last time.
Minor is due up first in the bottom of the inning, and that's one of the reasons Bobby's being patient here and trying to massage him through this inning.
Missed at 91. 2-0.
Really had to work.
There's some firewood. The barrel of the bat stuck vertically in the infield grass. The Mets take the lead here in the 5th. 2-1. Mets, with 2 in their half of the 5th, have taken a 2-1 lead. The night is over for Mike Minor, as Nate McLeod will pinch hit. Nate back up from Gwinnett. You look at some of the roster moves that have been made, and Troy Gloss will be activated for Thursday. And the September call-ups will include first baseman Freddie Freeman.
That's exciting. Everybody excited that that's been announced, that he will be here tomorrow.
Mike Dunn will be up. Kenshin Kawakami.
Boy.
And it's fouled off down the left side. J.C. Boscan, the catcher. And right-hand pitcher Scott Proctor will all join the club tomorrow here as those call-ups begin.
First at bat for Nate since July 25th.
Boy. Come on, Nate.
Almost nipped him. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Great pitch game last night from Scott Diamond. Fired a 2-hit complete game shutout against Norfolk. Beat them 4-0.
That missed. Count is full.
Set ball 4, kid.
Say Scott Diamond pitched that one?
He did.
They call him Glenn.
Yes, his friends do.
3-2.
Oh.
And he got him with a 3-2 pitch.
Right up under the shoulder. It's hard to hit a guy in the armpit, but that one did. Hopefully, I don't think it did. I was going to say hopefully got more jersey than chest, but not so.
Well, welcome back, Nate.
Yeah.
Omar Infante fouls off a bunt attempt at the plate. 0-1. The Mets used a base hit and 3 walks and a couple of sacrifice flies to take the lead in the top half of the 5th. 2-1. Braves trying to even things up here with McLeod at first, and now an 0-2 count to Infante. Omar singled off the pitcher's foot in the first. Was erased in a double play. They grounded to third in the third.
They keep throwing that slow breaking ball away from him with first base occupied and a big hole over there. That may work to Omar's advantage.
This one's grounded to third, but foul.
Hey, hey.
Omar came in hitting .343. McLeod with the lead at first. This one grounded towards second. And right through the wicket. Runners at first and third. Ball went right through Castillo.
Folks, that's only the second error all year long by the Mets second baseman. He was thinking double play, but he didn't get his glove down. He thought the ball was going to come up, and it didn't, and went right through his legs. Only the second error all year, so a huge break for Atlanta.
Well, let's see if the Braves can take advantage. Here's Jason Hayward with runners at first and third. He wants time. Nice was ready to go. He does work quickly. Jason took a left-hander deep here last night.
He's off Pat Mish deep into the right field seats.
Hit on the button to the gap in left center field, and it's going to roll. The game is tied, and here comes Infante. He rounds third. And the Braves have the lead. Hayward has done it
In
again.
inside out swing here. Fastball that had a lot of the plate. They didn't want it. They wanted it away. But Jason had an approach in mind, and that was to make sure he stayed on the ball a little longer, and he found the left center field gap.
A hit by pitch, an E4, and then a ringing double to the wall. 64 runs batted in for Jason Hayward.
Sawyer has 12 RBIs in his last 14 games.
Martin fouls off the bunt attempt.
Over scoring. Come on, Brad. Come on, get.
Trying to get him over. Set up Derek Lee and Matt Diaz.
Good pitch, 0-2.
There's been a lot of barking on Alfonso Marquez tonight from both sides.
Hayward leads from second. Breaking ball way outside. 1-2. So after losing their 1-0 lead in the top half of the fifth, the Braves have reclaimed it and threatened for more. Hayward at second, nobody out. To right, base hit. Francoeur charges. Hayward rounds third, and he'll stay right there.
Great piece of hitting by Martin Prado. Behind in the count. And an inside out swing. Kept his hands inside the baseball to fight this off. Now Jason had to take a look, make sure that ball was going to drop, so he didn't get as good a jump as he might have, say, with 2 outs. And Brian Snitker wisely held him up. Jeff Francoeur took a little off his throw. It's like when he came up ready to gun it, it's like he threw a changeup there when he saw that Hayward was being held.
And you've got Lee and Diaz coming up. With runners at first and third, the meeting of the black shirts is over.
Another multi-hit game for Martin, too.
If you're counting, that's 52. And here's Lee, who takes a strike, 0-1. Derek's 2 out of 2.
Hey, Lee.
A ball and a strike. Hayward at third. Prado at first.
Mets got some help in the top of the inning with the walks. The Braves got this inning started with a hit batsman and then the big error.
2 balls and a strike. Lee has an RBI tonight. And he can pick up more here. Had his first multi-hit game last night with the Braves and has done it again tonight. Takes outside. 3-1.
Well, again, he and Terry Pendleton have been working on his swing, just tweaking it a little bit. Try to get him to level off his swing and not uppercut quite so much.
They are loaded for Matt Diaz.
He's bringing to the Braves lineup, Ernie, what they really needed, and that was the presence of a guy who can do some damage. Without Chipper active any longer, Chipper was always that presence no matter what he was doing offensively, how much he was struggling. You knew that when he was on deck, he was capable of coming up with runners on base and doing some damage. Same thing goes for Derek Lee, and they don't like pitching to him. Teams don't in RBI situations.
Well, here's a big spot for Matty Diaz. Bases loaded, nobody out. He laid down a sacrifice bunt in the second. Line to third in the fourth.
Elmer Descends is up in their bullpen. He worked 2 innings here last night.
Matty in an 0-2 hole.
And he was late on that one. There's descends. Matt would like something he can hit a sacrifice fly on here. Just to try and elevate something to stay out of a double play.
Hit hard, but foul past third. Nice has thrown 91 pitches. He's ready. Here it comes. And he struck him out. First out.
That's similar to the pitch that he struck Ross out with last inning to get out of trouble. Big slow curveball to the outside part of the plate that the right-hander, you can see Matt, he doesn't take a stride, but his weight was forward. His knee was buckling a little bit, hard to stay back, and he had to try and foul tip it or put it in place somehow just to stay alive. Good pitch by Nice in a big spot.
His night has been similar to that of Mike Minor in the fact that through 4 innings he had not walked a batter. In the 5th he hit one, walked one, and it's gotten him in trouble.
Mike Minor gave up 7 hits and 3 walks and only 2 runs. That's pretty good work pitching in and out of trouble. This guy has been the same way after giving up a lot of leadoff extra base hits.
He has struck out 6. Once it was Alex Gonzalez who takes a strike. Be a great time to snap out of an 0 for 13 funk, would it not? How about you?
Thank you.
Falls in front of Francoeur in right. Here comes the throw to the plate. And Prado's going to be tagged out. But it scores a run. Runners around the corners with 2 down.
This was a great play by Henry Blanco to save a run. Alex comes through with the base hit. And now watch Henry. The throw is not a good one from Francoeur. It was an in-between hop. Henry had to come up the line and put himself in harm's way with the base runner. But he somehow handled the hop and got the tag on.
Not Francoeur's greatest throw, but his 11th outfield assist, which leads the National League. But the Braves are ahead 4-2 now as Melky swings and misses. Three runs here in the 5th for Atlanta. They lead at 4-2. Breaking pitch missed. 1-1. Melky's 1 out of 2, singled in the 4th. A little bit of everything in this inning. Hit by a pitch, E4, double, single, walk, runner thrown out at the plate. And now a 3-1 count to Cabrera. Talk about those shutdown innings when your team scores and you try to shut the other guy down. And Jonathan Nice unable to get that done here after the Mets had staked him to a 2-1 lead.
Had a ground ball that he needed though, and he just didn't get any help from his second baseman on what looked like a sure double play ball.
Payoff pitch.
He's just not giving in and hasn't all night long on any full count pitches like this. Got Ross last inning on the strikeout on the breaking ball with runners at first and second and first and third here, and still throwing breaking stuff, change-ups to Melky.
They are loaded for David Ross.
Here's that throw to the plate again. A real tough in between hop. Blanco was trying to catch the ball and block the plate at the same time. And he made Martin run around him by getting in the way. And that was the difference in the play. Martin had no place to go.
It was a veteran move by Henry Blanco.
Well, he's tougher than a boot, too. You can't move him. He's certainly not shy about blocking the plate.
You think back to the play last night when Jason Hayward scored with the head first slide, scored from first, and totally really didn't block the plate. Could have made life miserable for Hayward had he been in the way, but he was able to slide head first and sneak the hand in there. Ross was right on top of that pitch and fouled it straight back. He tripled in the third, struck out in the fourth. And he can do some damage here with the Braves on top, 4-2. We're in the bottom half of the fifth. Ran it inside, missed. Ball and a strike.
We had a Home Depot question last night, Ernie, about pinch hitters. If you lead off or you get a pinch hit at bat and the team bats around, does the same pinch hitter get to hit? That would be the case if David Ross can reach. Nate McLouth would hit again this inning.
He is in the on-deck circle, and here's the pitch.
Boy.
1 ball and 2 strikes. David needs some new lumber.
Well, here's a case where this guy's thrown so many breaking balls and so many off-speed pitches to these right-handed hitters that David is basically jamming himself. He's thrown him a couple of fastballs, so he's had to fight them off. And now 1 and 2 he certainly will. But David's basically looking for anything middle of the plate away and not afraid to get jammed if he does come in.
Ross waiting on a 1-2. Here it comes.
Boy.
Count is even. Wow, this has been a labor in the fifth. This will be the 40th pitch for Jonathan Neese. And it's not over yet. That ball is driven to left, and it's out of here. David Ross, touch of all, a grand slam here in the fifth. The first of his career.
It was a breaking ball, but it was a breaking ball that came to the inner third. And a low line shot into the seats. What a big hit for the Braves backup catcher. What an inning.
It is 8-2 Braves. And Jonathan Neese slams the glove in frustration. This call to the bullpen brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible.
SEC on Peachtree TV this Saturday. Them Georgia Bulldogs, be there.
Why, thank you, JJ. Ready to go back here as Nate McLeod bats for the second time this inning. He pinch hit for Mike Minor to begin the fifth. And 7 runs later, one of which he scored after being hit by a pitch, is up there against Elmer Descends. Here comes the 1-1. Rounded towards second. Castillo gets him by a step. But the Braves, well, they had themselves in it.
Yes, they did. 7
runs, including a grand slam by David Ross. And suddenly a 2-1 deficit is an 8-2 Atlanta lead. Enjoy South Florida down there, young man.
Intend to, with a lot of W's. That's the plan.
Nate McLeod now in center field. Melky Cabrera moves to left. And Eric O'Flaherty is on in relief of Mike Minor. So Minor left the game trailing 2-1, needing the Braves to rally. And boy, they did. 7 runs in the fifth. So now he's in position for his 3rd big league win, if the Braves bullpen can take care of business.
Let's go back to the last game in Chicago on the road trip. Braves won that one 16-5, and the game started by Mike Minor. Then they got beat 5-4 in Colorado, 5-2. Scored 10 runs in that loss to Colorado. So a big offensive output. Lost 7-1 to start this homestand, so they only got 1 run against Volstad the first game of this homestand. Then scored 12 runs against Florida, and then 7 runs against Florida. Last night 9 against the Mets, and tonight have 8 against the Mets. Offense is coming to life.
8 runs through 5 innings as Tejada bounces right back to O'Flaherty, 1 down. And Jerry Manuel goes to the bench now for Mike Hessman. O'Flaherty was spectacular out of the pen last night. pitching out of a bases loaded jam, came in and faced one hitter and got a ground out. Here he comes to work in the 6th. Gets the first out, and there's a strike to Hessman.
In some ways, you can understand why Jerry Manuel didn't go out to get Jonathan Neese before he did. He was trailing 4-2 before the grand slam, and a lot of the damage was the result of the error by Castillo. Yeah, he walked a couple of guys. It compounded things, but in ways that you sometimes don't think about from a manager's standpoint. He's trying to let Neese, even though he's behind by 2 at that point, pitch out of it, because most of the problems were in his own making. Didn't work out.
Yeah, you wonder how that whole inning turns out if he makes that play, and they do turn 2. You got nobody on with 2 out. But as it turns out, it absolutely turned the tide of the inning. Hessman, a former Brave. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Well, Flaherty last night, as you said, Ernie, got that big ground out he needed from Chris Carter with the bases loaded, and then in the 7th gave up a hit, but no runs, and recorded a strikeout.
Threw it right by him for the 2nd out.
Biting slider down and in. Great to have O'Flaherty back.
And that bout with mono, lost a lot of weight, got that back. And it's really good to have another solid left arm out of that pen. Now here's Castillo, who knows all too well what happened a half inning ago and how it has changed the course of this game.
Only a 2nd error all year.
Well, he's had long streaks in his career, long
Right.
errorless streaks. And then it's on a chance like that just goes right between the legs. He fouls that off. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Only people you need to talk to are here in this ballpark, and that's his former double playmate Alex Gonzalez, who now plays for the Braves, and Derek Lee at first base. When those 3 guys, coupled with Mike Lowell on the Marlins in 2003 for a world championship, it was widely regarded as one of the best defensive infields in many, many years in the National League.
Grounded weakly to 2nd. And that is a 1, 2, 3, top half of the 6th. It's all Braves here at Turner Field. runs for the Braves to break this open. It's 8-2. And the Mets have gone to the pen again. Ryota Igarashi is the third New York pitcher.
And he pitched here last night. 1 inning, though, is all he worked. Gave up a base hit, but a double play ended that threat. Struck out a batter, so he didn't have to throw many pitches.
He will face the top of the Atlanta order. Braves batted around in the 5th. Well, we've got a second here too, Joe. We want to pass on our best to a very close friend of ours and one we work with on a professional basis over at Career Sports and Entertainment, Molly Fletcher. She and her husband Fred were here at the game last night with their kids, and their 6-year-old daughter Meg was hit by a foul ball here in game 1 of this series. And she is hospitalized, and we certainly send our best and our prayers out to Molly and the family. Just see a lot of things in the ballpark where a lot of really hard hit balls and that kind of thing, and unfortunately last night was one of those things that happened, and just want them to know that we're thinking about them tonight.
Just awful. We understand Meg's doing well and resting comfortably. We wish her a speedy recovery. I tell you, folks, you fans who come to the ballpark and sit down low, and you've got great seats, but you're in harm's way a bit in terms of foul balls. If you've got young kids with you, make sure you sit between them and the hitter. So those foul balls or a broken bat that might fly in the stands, that's one line of defense anyway you can create for yourself. Is anytime there's a ball that comes your way, you can try to get in the way of it.
Jason Hayward fouls that back.
And keep your eye on the ball.
One-two to Hayward. That missed 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jason rounded into a double play his first time. Called out on strikes in the 3rd and doubled in the 5th. Knocked in a couple of runs. He's got 64 runs batted in. And a couple of hops to second. Castillo throws him out, 2 down. Let's take a look at tonight's leaderboard, brought to you by the Sunshine House, a tradition of excellence in early education. Multi-hit games. Martin Prado now with 52 to lead the National League. He's tied with Ichiro. And he's been able to do that despite the stint on the disabled list. That pinky still bothering him a little bit. Looks kind of nasty, but talk about a guy, I brought it up earlier, as Igarashi throws a 57-footer. Talk about a guy who's picked up right where he left off. I mean, you go on the disabled list, Joe, and then you come back and you say, well, eventually he'll maybe work his way back into it. 11 games coming off the DL, 327, 2 homers, 3 doubles. Rounder up the middle right there. Tejada will throw him out. And that's a 1-2-3 inning. But Martin is 2 out of 4. He's still at it. We move to the 7th, and here's Johnny. Venner's on again. Game number 62.
What a year he's having. Kind of nice, too, for Bobby Cox, isn't it, with the way the Braves bullpen has pitched all year, that when you have a starter that only goes 5, you've got some guys you can rotate in and finish up the ball game without any stress or pressure on anybody.
He faces David Wright, who was 0 for 2 with a walk. It's been all left-handers tonight for the Braves. Mike Minor started, Eric O'Flaherty followed, and now Venters. Guys have taken to calling him everyday Johnny. Didn't pitch last night, but he has been at the ready all season long. There's a grounder to short, and David Wright is still hitless at Turner Field.
He's been ready like all the other rookies for the Braves this year. A wide swath cut by these Braves rookies. Hayward leads the rookies in the National League with his on-base plus slugging percentage. Brooks Conrad off the bench, really fortifying the bench with 2 pinch hit grand slams. Johnny Venters, best ERA among rookies, and of course Mike Minor in the starting rotation now, looking for his 3rd win. I'd say they've got a well-rounded group there in different facets of the ball club.
There have been such great contributions from all corners on this team. There's Brooks Conrad with the flair for the dramatic.
If you went up to David Ross and said, well, I know how that feels.
Twice. A ball and 2 strikes to Beltran. You may have a seat. 2 down.
Brooks cracked me up before the ball game. I think he did you too, Ernie, as we watch this fastball, this 2-seamer on the inside corner at 96. They had a presentation before the game right in front of the Braves dugout for Employees of the Month. Young lady won Employee of the Month, who's the elevator operator over in the 755 Club. And Brooks gave her plaque or her award. And they wanted a picture, so Brooks throws his arm around her. They're taking the picture. I thought we were going to delay the start of the game because he wasn't going to let her go.
Brooks has been out there for a lot of the pregame festivities, catches a lot of ceremonial first pitches, has been the guy when they have the hitting wedges or 9-irons out here closest to the pin.
Mm-hmm. He's ready.
Hubby stuck one 15 feet yesterday.
Boy, did he ever. Hit it a mile high and dropped it right in there.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Francoeur, who waves at strike 3.
Johnny Venters.
Every day. as they stretch here at Turner Field. Braves lead it by 6. Fans hungry for more. Derek Lee to lead it off. Been on base every time tonight. A double, a single, and a walk.
When if you haven't joined us for this homestand, you need to come out. Very pleasant nights. Braves are playing well. Got Hanson tomorrow night, Hudson Thursday night. Either one of them are going to be real good matchups. Tommy Hanson against Mike Pelfrey tomorrow. Pelfrey's a 13-game winner, and Johan Santana, the Cy Young Award winner, former Cy Young Award winner,
2 times over,
goes against Hudson on Thursday.
And Huddy's in the conversation for National League Cy Young this year. In fact, finished second in 2000 to Pedro Martinez in the American League. Derek Lee waiting on a 1-2. Igarashi, the 3rd New York pitcher. Kinski has a bat in the on-deck circle.
Now, when Diaz came out of the game, that was the pitcher's spot.
The 2-2, lace to center. Beltran fields it on a hop.
Big night for Derek Lee. 3 hits and a walk. And I'm not sure that Carlos Beltran is going to catch this ball under any circumstances, only because it's slashing away from him. But I think he's lost a little bit.
I think the old Carlos Beltran, you see a dive there and the attempt for it, if not the catch. But he was tailing away a little bit. Ball was well hit by Lee. And he's on there to start off the 7th. Crowd like last night's here on a Tuesday night. About 18-4. Derek Lee's first 3-hit game since July 19th, and his first as a Brave. Kinski takes. It's 3-0. New York led this game 2-1 going to the bottom of the 5th, and then the bottom fell out. They're at first and second with nobody out. And Diori Hernandez will run for Derek Lee.
Kinski in the ballgame, having just pinch hit. He most likely will stay in the game to play first base.
Now here's Alex Gonzalez, who broke out of that 0-for slump with a run-scoring single in that 7-run 5th. Skied to shallow right. Francoeur makes the play, 1 down.
Pedro Feliciano, the left-handed setup man, gets some work and gets ready to work. Kashi Saito in the Braves bullpen.
Melky Cabrera's 1 out of 2 with a walk and a run scored. You're just joining us. The Braves sent 10 to the plate in the 5th. 7 of them scored. The big blow, a grand slam by David Ross, the first of his career. Bounced another one up there, 1-1.
Melky last year played in a ton of games for the Yankees. He was in 154 of 162 games. A lot that he started, also a lot that he came in for defensive purposes or to pinch run. Very versatile player, and had a solid year at 274 with 13 homers. This is game number 132 for Atlanta tonight. And he's played in 128 of them.
Fouled straight back, 2-2. Braves trying to go 22 games over 500, match their high water mark. And importantly, show those guys wearing the gray uniforms out in LA tonight, the Phillies, that there's another win on the Atlanta side, and they'll need to try to keep pace to avoid falling 4 games back in the East.
You keep putting up W's and scratching dates off the calendar. Makes it tougher and tougher. Again, you're just in a good spot here. If you're in first place, as Chipper said, you're in first place and you win, you don't have anything else to worry about.
The 2-2.
Bring it. Come on, Milk.
That game at Chavez Ravine about 40 minutes away from starting. Joe Underhill, our statistician. We're check with Underdog. Is Manny do anything tonight? Did he pinch hit or anything for the White Sox? They're leading the Indians late, 4-1. Down the line. That's going to score a run. And it might score too. Now they're going to hold Ski up at third. But Melky Cabrera gets in on the edge.
38th RBI for him. He just goes the other way on a sinker that was running away from him. Cuts it right inside the bag.
So now it's 9-2. And Underdog reports that no, Manny has not played tonight. The report was he was going to be available to pinch hit if need be, and then be in the lineup on Wednesday.
There's also a report that there was a barber on duty rather at the stadium in Cleveland, and who knows, he may not be able to play until they get through cutting his hair, if that was going to take place.
That's a Jerry Reinsdorf rule, the owner of the team. Here's Ross. I don't know if he stopped smiling since the granny.
I know
Goes down swinging this time. Cincinnati leading Milwaukee. They won on their last at bat last night. St. Louis, the struggle continues as they trail the Astros 3-0.
Football 7 back tonight. A good game going on in Florida, scoreless through 7.5.
And Pittsburgh is just all over the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, the Cubs beat Pirates last night. The Pirates 14-2. Tonight it's 9-0 Pittsburgh.
McLeod fouls off the first pitch, 0-1.
Braves still have 3 games left with the Pirates. They'll be coming up on this next road trip. Second trip to PNC Park this year.
Nate McLeod came on in the 5th and already his 3rd at bat here in the 7th. Fouled right below us. He started and finished the inning in the 5th. Hit by a pitch and scored, and grounded out to second. Just back up from Gwinnett. Two fly ball to right. Brancourt camps under it. Makes the play, but the Braves add another one. Melky Cabrera doing the damage down the line. It's 9-2. Game at first base. And the 4th Atlanta pitcher is Takashi Saito.
How about these numbers, Ern? Takashi Saito's last 6 games, he's worked an inning each for 6 innings of work. He's not given up an earned run. He's walked 1 in those 6 innings and struck out 14. That's pretty snazzy.
That's good work for the 40-year-old reliever.
14 strikeouts out of 18 outs.
He faces Ike Davis, who has struggled at the plate in this series and has struck out 5 times. So you would figure, given the stat that you just delivered. But that is a distinct possibility here.
Pretty much automatic.
1-1. Lined to Gonzalez, 1 out.
Saving his energy.
The interesting thing about Takashi, and they talked about the night vision problems and that kind of thing, and the set of signs that they use when he's on the mound, because he really can't see when the catcher just puts down fingers. So they use that set of signs by touching the shin guards and the shoulder and the mask and that kind of thing, and it all means something. They did have the big cross-up with Brian McCann against the Rockies that cost him.
Yeah. Yeah, that one hurt.
He was looking slider, was McCann, and the fastball whistled right by him, kept an inning alive. Boy, did he tie him up. Blanco behind 0-2.
You mentioned the Braves hoping to get 22 games over 500. They're looking to go 30 games over 500 at home. They would go to 48-18.
Goes without saying, the best mark in baseball. Blanco's sacrifice fly knocked in the second New York run and gave him a 2-1 lead before the Braves erupted. This one's to left, and Melky tracks it down.
On the subject of the Braves winning percentage at home, from 91 to 2005 in the halcyon days, they were a total of 307 games over, 63% winning percentage. From 06 to 09, only a total of 10 games over 500. Are you kidding me? I didn't know that. And this year, just a remarkable record. Looking for number 30 to go 30 over tonight.
2 down here in the 8th, and Saito to Chris Carter. Strike called. Braves closed the book on August tonight. A schedule that had them at home 19 and on the road for 10. They were 4-6 on the road and trying to go 14-5 in those 19 August home games. That's a pretty relaxed bunch.
They're
9-2 here in the 8th.
Really confident group, and they should be.
I think you saw Derek Lee right in the middle of it over there too, and what a good feeling it has to be for him after a slow start with this new team. Pick up a 3-hit game tonight, score a couple of times, picked up an RBI in there. And a lot of pieces clicking, because when you look at this team and you think of the opening day lineup that they had, and very little resemblance to that. I mean, Jason Hayward's been, aside from the injury, been a constant in right field, as this one is blooped behind short. I think he hit that with an old wet newspaper. Going to the bottom of the 8th.
referring to a batter's swing. Well, here's a good description of it right here, Sandra. This picture of a swing last night from Jason Hayward. His hands basically are inside the baseball, meaning they're between the ball and his body. He's not letting the barrel of the bat get out too far in front of him. And when you keep your hands inside the baseball, especially on any inside pitch, you create great torque and leverage from your hips that help you get the bat through, as opposed to letting your hands cast out away from your body and kind of dragging the bat through the zone.
Luis Hernandez, now the Mets' third baseman. And Pedro Feliciano, the latest in a long line of New York relievers. Omar Infante takes. It's a ball and a strike as he leads off the bottom half of the 8th.
So we have another question tonight for Braves fans and Braves fans who follow ex-Braves like Jeff Francoeur out in right field. I'm sure it's been swimming around in his head, especially after the Braves got that 7 spot in the 5th. Wondering if this might be his last game in a Mets uniform tonight.
Those are the reports from various media outlets that a deal could be in the works involving Frenchie and the Texas Rangers as Omar Infante grounds out.
You were telling me tonight that Josh Hamilton's nursing a sore knee.
That's kind of swelling up on him.
And I think Cruz came back tonight. Is that right? Yesterday. Nelson Cruz had been on the disabled list, so they were a little short-handed in the outfield, so you could see how that might happen.
They started the day with an 8.5 game lead over Oakland in the West. Jason takes. He's doubled tonight. Knocked in a couple of runs. Scored a run. Tied him up inside, 1 and 2. That double was another one of those 4-iron jobs that doesn't get very high off the ground, but man, is it moving.
This guy Feliciano is no fun, though, on a regular basis for left-handed hitters. They're hitting him at a 225 clip this year, and that's about 50 points higher than normal.
And he comes from the side, that big sweeping breaking ball that went outside. There's another one.
He used to actually throw harder, Ernie, but that gold chain is creating some problems on this follow through. Some Phuket beads and the gold, that's going to slow his arm action down just a little.
The 3-2 to Hayward. Strike 3 called, and he knew it. Saturday at noon, SEC football returns on Peachtree TV. Catch all the hard-hitting action as the Georgia Bulldogs take on the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette, live in HD on Peachtree TV. Here's Martin Prado with 2 down.
Good work from Martin the last 2 nights against the Mets. He had not fared well against New York the first 8 games of the season against them, but he's making up for it here.
It's his 69th game for Feliciano. That's the most among relievers in the National League. Yankees are winning tonight, beating Oakland 9-3. Rays are getting pounded by the Blue Jays, so New York, if those results hold up, will take a 1-game lead in the American League East. And there is a 1-2-3 inning in the 8th for Feliciano. We're going to the 9th.
Having none of that, so a big inning. Peter Moylan takes over. Worked the 9th, his 67th game of the year. Peter went through a stretch between June 10th and August 4th, almost a 2-month period. 26 appearances. He had a 0.96 ERA. In his 9 appearances since August 4th, he's given up 7 earned runs in 6 1/3 innings. So he's been roughed up a little bit in recent days, but gets an inning of work here tonight to get back on track.
Had a little shoulder fatigue, had a cortisone shot on Friday. And he goes to work here on Tuesday. And then we'll finish things up here as the Braves try to make it 2 straight over the Mets and 4 straight overall. Ruben Tejada takes inside 1-0. He's had a couple of hits. One of those, what you thought originally could have been ruled a triple, but was ruled a single and a 2-base error on Matt Diaz, and then he laid down a bunt to set the table for the pitcher, who then struck out.
Yeah, drive us in, pitcher, Jonathan.
And then he grounded out to the pitcher in the 6th.
Just looking at the scoreboard, Washington and Florida are now in extra innings scoreless. Not that game. Let's check out the starting pitchers for that one. Zimmerman for Washington, who is back from the disabled list, and Anibal Sanchez started.
Like Zimmerman back from Tommy John surgery, and the word tonight is that Steven Strasburg will have that surgery in LA on Friday. One down for the Mets on the strikeout of Tejada by Moylan. Hey, look back in the 5th inning, the Mets scored twice on a couple of sacrifice flies. That's the last inning they had a hit. And since then, 12 straight set down by Atlanta pitching. Here's Luis Hernandez. Peter met some of his countrymen the other day. They had a couple of players, a couple of the women from the national team from Australia who were visiting here the other day. Longtime Braves fans who started. You get to watch one game a week over there, and a lot of times it was the Braves. That play. How about you, Omar Infante?
How about you is right. How about the quickness of his hands on the transfer from the glove to the hand? And then he got something on the throw, too. Fast runner, still got him. That is just proverbial poetry in motion right there.
And the nice stretch at first by Eric Hinsky. And so, with 2 down, the Mets' last hope is Luis Castillo, who will no doubt have to face the battery of New York newspaper reporters and talk about that ball that went right through the wicket in the 5th inning.
Yeah, the biggest non-play of the game.
The 0-1 from Moylan. Line drive. And look at that. Omar Infante can do it all. Flags down that little blooper to end the game. And the Braves with a big 5th inning. Erase a 2-1 deficit and then run away and hide from the New York Mets. That's 4 straight wins. And Bobby Cox's crew 22 games over the 500 mark. Back to wrap things up after this.